Our currency is crashing and will soon no longer be the world standard, which will be our greatest defeat, frankly, in 200 years. There will be no defeat like that. That will take us away from being even a great power.
This is my first video update from Belgrade, Serbia. On this Wednesday morning, let's talk about some news. And the big news, of course, is the arrest of Donald Trump. He was indeed arrested yesterday in New York City. He was brought into the courtroom. 34 charges were brought against him, but from what I understand, those 34 charges are essentially the same charge, which is something like Trump falsified documents in order to hide a more serious crime, of which the New York DA, Alvin Bragg, is not telling us what that more serious crime was. So, I mean, the whole thing is just a complete farce. It's a complete joke. 34 of the same charges, but just worded differently is basically what we're looking at, and some sort of falsifying of documents to hide a bigger crime, of which we don't know what that bigger crime was. But they got what they wanted, which is that they brought Trump into a courtroom and they charged him. Trump went back to Mar-a-Lago that same evening. From what I understand, there was no gag order issued by the judge, but the judge did recommend that Trump not discuss the case and the indictment on social media, something like that, like a recommendation or something like that. But yeah, that's it. There you have it. They got to the political objective that they were aiming for, which is arresting Trump and preparing the way to sabotage Trump's political campaign for the presidency in 2024, because that is what this is really all about. What they would like to do is they would like to make it so that when Trump does win the Republican nomination and he does begin campaigning for the presidency against Joe Bidenopoulos, Greece's favorite son, they want to make it so that independent voters, swing voters, just find it impossible to vote for a man who has been charged for some crimes. Many of the voters won't even really know exactly what those crimes are, but that's not important. The message is going to be that he has been charged with these crimes, 34 of them, and he's going through a whole court proceeding. So might as well stick with Joe Biden and not vote for this guy. That's the whole purpose of this circus, this legal circus, which is destroying the United States of America, which many people argue has destroyed the United States of America. The leading opposition candidate has been brought into a criminal investigation and charged with BS, bogus crimes. And all of this is about getting Joe Bidenopoulos reelected. And the timing of it is the big giveaway as to why this is political. Because Trump is going to appear in court again on December 4th, a couple of weeks before the real campaigning for 2024 begins. So from now until December 4th, you can be 100% sure, 1,000% sure that Trump's Republican opponents, as well as the Democrats and the DNC and the think tanks and all of these groups, the NGOs, they're all preparing the media campaign, the advertisements against Trump. And all those advertisements and the media campaign against Trump by all of these people is going to be focused on this criminal case against him. It's all being prepared right now. and it's going to be ready to go come December, January, when Trump goes to court again. And when the election really gets underway, all these ads are going to be run nonstop to the American people. And then you're going to have the mainstream media like CNN and MSNBC talk about this court case 24/7. And just the sheer repetition of all of this is going to, in their minds, is going to sway the independent voters and the swing voters to avoid backing Trump. That is what this is all about. And they're just going to say, you know what? Just give Bidenopolis another 4 years. That's the calculus here. This is all political. All of it is political, and the media is going to be going hard against Trump come December, January. But everything is going to start being prepared from now until then. All the campaigns, all the media, all the ads, it's all going to start being prepared from now until December, January. And it's all going to focus on this court case, these charges against Trump. So that is that's the news around Trump. Quite a shocking development. I never thought I would see something like this happen in the United States of America, but these people are absolutely crazy. And yeah, they're going to go with Biden. They're going to go with Biden. Here's what I think happened. Remember a couple of months ago, all the news stories about laptop documents and classified documents being discovered in Biden's Delaware home, in his garage, and all of these things, all these classified documents popping up. Whatever happened to that story? Nothing. It faded away. What I think happened is that in the Democrat Party, at the DNC, in the deep state, there was a debate going on. Do we go with Biden again because everyone hates him, or do we look for another candidate? And I think at one point in time, the powers that were pushing for finding an alternate candidate were winning out. And they said, okay, let's find someone else because Biden is just completely out of it. And the guy's lost and he's awful. So let's look for someone else and let's start to usher him out. So let's start planting these documents all over the place and begin the process of discrediting Biden and persuading him to not run again in 2024. But something changed, and the powers that be that want Biden to run in 2024 somehow won out in the end. Maybe perhaps the powers that wanted Biden out couldn't find a suitable candidate for president. They looked at Kamala, they said, ugh, and she's even worse. They looked at Pete Buttigieg, and they were like, this guy's, I was going to say this guy's a train wreck, but it was the train wreck that actually discredited Buttigieg and ruined his political career. So I think they looked around and they said, we got nothing. And then the forces that wanted Biden to run, they said, well, you see, we told you so. Biden's our guy, so this is the person we're going to run. I think they won out. And they said, okay, we're going to go with Biden. I guess there was a consensus that was reached in the deep state at the DNC, and they said, Biden it is. And that's when they said, you know, if we're going to get Biden elected, well, we're going to have to take out Trump. And in comes New York City and Alvin Bragg, and from what I understand, there's going to be a case in Georgia as well, and they're going to get Georgia on board as well to charge Trump with stuff, and they're just going to bury Trump in legal court cases and charges and all this kind of nonsense. They're just going to bury the guy in that stuff, and the media campaign is going to kick in, and that'll be that. They'll clear the way for a Bidenopolis in 2024. So Joe Biden, Greece's favorite son, Joe Bidenopolis, he tweeted out yesterday his congratulations to Finland for joining NATO. Biden said, Finland, welcome to NATO. Today is a historic day. Your addition to our alliance will make us stronger than ever. I also look forward to welcoming Sweden as a NATO ally as soon as possible. When Putin launched his brutal war, he thought he could divide Europe and NATO. He was wrong. He was wrong. Strengthened by our newest ally, Finland, we will continue to preserve transatlantic security, defend every inch of NATO territory, and meet any and all challenges we face. When Putin started this brutal war, he was wrong. He was wrong. Name me any world leader that wants to be Xi Jinping. Name me one. Oh boy. I can't believe that they're going to run this guy for another 4 years. Oh my God. So that was Biden's tweet congratulating Finland. Dmitry Peskov, the Kremlin spokesman, he issued a statement. And he said that obviously this is NATO expansion that is aggressive towards Russia, and Russia's going to take the necessary steps that they need to take. But the Kremlin was also very clear to highlight the differences between NATO expansion into Ukraine and NATO expansion in Finland and Sweden and stuff like that. But anyway, the Kremlin is not happy about this, but this was expected, and to be quite honest, Finland and Sweden were already kind of de facto members in NATO anyway. And Stoltenberg, he came out with a statement yesterday, and he said that Ukraine needs more ammunition for the offensive, and he said that NATO countries will increase production. He emphasized that a meaningful dialogue with Ukraine on NATO membership will be possible only when it secures its sovereignty. Stoltenberg also said that Ukraine will indeed enter NATO when it is victorious over Russia. So those were the statements from the NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg. What else do I have to talk about? How about Elensky, since we're on the subject of Ukraine? And Elensky, yesterday, he spoke to the Chilean parliament. Elensky gave a video speech to the parliament of Chile. He thanked Chile for providing demining equipment. He also wanted to press Chile to honor the ICC Putin arrest warrant. And that was pretty much his speech to the Chilean parliament. Why he's talking to the parliament in Chile, I have no idea. From what I understand, Chile has not weighed in on this conflict. They haven't provided any real weapons or money to the Elensky regime outside of this demining equipment that Elensky was talking about. But that's pretty much Chile's involvement in this conflict. Chile is a world away from what is going on in Ukraine, but Elensky, he wanted to perform his act in front of a parliament, and so I guess Chile was the show. So that was Elensky speaking to the Chilean parliament. People of Chile, I want to thank you. I want to thank you very much for the equipment to remove the mines. Thank you very much. I also want to tell the people of Chile to arrest Putin. If he travels to Chile, you must arrest Putin. Putin must go to jail and live in a basement with a bucket, not a toilet, a bucket. And thank you, Chile. Thank you very much for all the support. And one last thing. Do you have $2 billion for me? There's a couple of homes in Santiago that I want to buy. So please send me $2 billion right now. Thank you very much. That's probably what Elensky said in his speech. That was the essence of Elensky's speech. So I think I'm going to make this video a quick one. I'm going to let me scroll my bookmarks. I'm going to scroll some of my bookmarks here and see if I have anything else. Ah, here's an interesting story. NATO was holding a meeting in Brussels, and it was a meeting for foreign ministers. And Peter Szijjártó, the Hungarian foreign minister, attended the meeting, and he saw that the foreign minister of Ukraine, Dmytro Kuleba, was also present at this meeting. And Peter Szijjártó, he said, "What the F? What's going on? Why is this guy, Kuleba, sitting at a NATO meeting? They're not a part of NATO. What's he doing here?" Peter Szijjártó said, "We came here in hope that no one will question the validity of our earlier joint decision that NATO is not a part of the war taking place in our neighbor Ukraine, and that everything must be done to prevent a direct NATO-Russia conflict. Inviting Ukraine violates the principle of the unity of the allies within NATO, but in the spirit of constructiveness, we will participate in the meeting," he added. "I will also make it clear that Hungary will support any integration efforts of Ukraine only if the Ukrainians support the Transcarpathian Hungarians, the rights they had before 2015. So that's what Peter Szijjártó said. He actually posted, he said this on Facebook, posting from the Foreign Ministers' Conference of bloc members. So that was a statement from Hungary. Basically, Peter Szijjártó said, Ukraine shouldn't be here. They have no business being here. He also did say in this post that he will support, Hungary will support Ukraine's entrance into NATO once Ukraine recognizes the rights of Transcarpathian Hungarians. So that was a statement from Hungary. What are you doing here at this NATO meeting, Ukraine? Because Hungary in the past has protested Ukraine's attendance of these meetings because the Orbán government feels like with Ukraine in attendance at these meetings, what it does is that it makes the case that NATO is indeed involved in this conflict. And if NATO is involved in this conflict, well, then we've got very, very big problems. Peter Szijjártó also said after this NATO meeting that peace was not discussed at all. The only thing that was discussed was more weapons to Ukraine. The Biden White House actually gave another $2.6 billion in weapons. Brian Berletic of the New Atlas, he actually talked about this in a Telegram post, and he pretty much said that these weapons that the Biden White House is giving to Ukraine, a lot of this is just military contracts that need to be fulfilled and replacements for weapons that have been destroyed by the Russian military. But Peter Szijjártó was like, you know, we come to these NATO meetings and we don't talk about peace. We don't talk about a ceasefire. All we talk about is escalation and more weapons to Ukraine. That's not a good sign. But for NATO, it's more money in the pockets of all of the NATO officials and all of the politicians that support NATO. So let's do a couple of clown worlds and wrap this video up. And the first clown world is a quick one, and it has to do with NPR and their Twitter account and Elon Musk branding NPR as U.S. state-affiliated media. He actually placed that text under the NPR logo on their Twitter handle. Fantastic move. Fantastic move. Now I think he should do the same for the New York Times, the Washington Post, CNN, MSNBC. I think they should all get the U.S. state-affiliated media label placed on their profile. But I'm so happy to see this being done, because it's always outlets like RT or Sputnik that get Russian state media or Russian-affiliated media. They get that placed underneath their profile photo and on their Twitter handle, and it's never NPR or the BBC or anything like that that get the state-affiliated media label placed on their social media. Now NPR has that state-affiliated media label, and I think that is a fantastic move from Elon Musk. Well done, Elon Musk. Well done. And let's end this clown world with a video from Blinken. I imagine this is his statement after the NATO meeting, where the U.S. Secretary of State claims that Russia's finances have shrunk to catastrophic proportions, forcing it to choose between pouring money into the war or providing it to its citizens. And I'm going to play the video from Blinken. Projection? Projection? I don't know. I don't know what news or what sources these guys are working off of, but either all of us are terribly wrong about Russia's situation and their economic state, or Anthony Blinken is high on something. He's high on the stuff that Elensky is high on. But here's the video statement from Blinken talking about Russia's catastrophic economic and military situation. The Duran.locals.com. We are on Rumble and Rockfin, Odyssey, BitChute, Telegram. Duran Shop 10% off. Instagram giveaway for our Duran Shop page. You will find the link down below. Follow us on Instagram. Follow the Duran Shop on Instagram. Take care.
Of ammunition through its European peace facility. Together, we're freezing the assets of those fueling the Kremlin's aggression, deploying sweeping sanctions and export controls that are degrading Russia's capacity to wage war. The Kremlin's finances have been squeezed to devastating effect, forcing it to choose between pouring money into the war or providing for its own citizens. As one Russian billionaire starkly said of Russia's future, there will be no money next year.